What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Jam Space Podcast, and today is Monday, February 8th. Hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you won your bets on the Super Bowl. I didn't pay much attention. I had my own Super Bowl, and I watched live from the Mojave Desert with Nebula. My guest today is Mr. Chris Beck from the Doom Tomb Podcast. It's a podcast based out of Phoenix over here. It's about everything stoner and doom. So if you're in a stoner band, if you're in a doom band, if you're in a rock band, if you're in a desert band, you should know about this guy. Look him up on Instagram at Doom Tomb. He's everywhere else at Doom Tomb. And check out his podcast. He's on Spotify. He's everywhere that you can get podcasts. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Chris, what's happening, brother? It's good to hear from you, man.
Zach from the band Who to a Kill. What is going on? And now the Jam Space Podcast.
Yeah, man. Well, you were one of the inspirations for me to start my little thing, And
Oh,
I wanted to when I set out for this, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't occupying like the same exact space as you know what I mean? Because so since I've been following you, your premise at the beginning, before everything kind of was forced to change, you were just kind of hanging at the shows and catching these bands after the show, man. Can you tell us a little bit about what made you decide to start up your podcast, man?
well, first, Zach, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's this thing where I think there's room for everyone. I see that, like, even Melissa from Stoner Witch, she's starting to do interviews, and Fuzzy Cracklins from the Swamp Records is doing them as well, and Blind Submissions even from Jeff from the band Kook. So yeah, there's room for everybody, and there's always room to grow. Now, when when I started this, yeah, you're right. I was going to the shows and picking people up as I could, and I kind of got lost track already. Where are we? What was the first question?
Oh, it was kind of a loaded question. It just seemed like, well, I was just asking what made you decide to get into podcasting because you
Oh,
were like catching bands after shows and and it just seemed like, somebody should have been doing this all along, and so that's why I was wondering what made you decide to do this.
yeah. Well, I was going to the shows of this scene and etc. And I didn't see anyone doing it, so I figured, well, let me look up online. And if you see the history of podcasts, some people come and go, and I listened to some of those, and they were mostly music based. They were just saying this is the hot new tracks or whatever. But when I finally got down to it, I wasn't hearing enough long form interviews with bands that I wanted to hear. So I was kind of cautious at first, and I would go around and I would ask a few different bands, would you be interested? Would you be interested? A lot of the guys that are local in Arizona. And finally, I said, you know what? I'm just going to throw some money down. I'm going to get the equipment I need so I can go on location and see what happens. Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
That's awesome. And so was it like a decision that you made to keep it stoner rock and doom based? Or was that just the kind of music that you're into? Or is that just the scene that you found here in Phoenix?
That or this scene, however we want to describe it, it's my home. I didn't know it until I went to one specific show because, I do like all genres. I listen to all genres. And when I first started, I thought I was going to be interviewing a few more different people, but I found some bands didn't want to be interviewed, and that's fine. But when I came to this, it was at this one show, and I actually did an article about it recently. It should be coming out it's called Workhorse,
I'm
and it's a
sitting
great
here.
publication.
I've got a Workhorse magazine right here on my desk, and I saw that you wrote an article in there about podcasting.
Yeah, just kind of like some kind of etiquette things to go over. And I kind of gave a little description as to how I got involved in this scene. And, it was a great night. And I could tell it again. It's a bunch of bands came together, and it was Mothership and Great Electric Quest and Dead Canyon, Wolves of Winter, Old Fashioned Assassin, and it was just a killer night. And I looked around at all these people. I'm like, I feel so easy and so comfortable, and everybody was so inviting that how can I not promote this? You know?
Absolutely. And yeah, when I think about it, it's like for sure, man, you stepped right into a role that wasn't being filled, and it seems so obvious, you know. So how long were you in Phoenix before you before you discovered this scene and these people and stuff?
Probably about a half a year. I came out here and just trying to get my feet wet and get a proper job and everything. And I had a health issue that set me back a ways. And then actually, it was one of the first shows I saw when I came back. So there might be something even quote unquote closer to my heart relating to the scene and how it almost felt like I had a heart issue. So it felt really weird that um, it just felt kind of strange that I didn't know if I was going to be able to be going to concerts again at one point due to my health. But it just felt so right when I got there. And I don't know, maybe that's a part of it. I never really, you know what? Thanks, Zach, because I didn't even think about it that way.
Well, that's beautiful, man. That's a lovely sentiment. Um, did you ever like were you ever interested in broadcasting anything before? Did you ever do you have a history in like wanting to do broadcast or podcasting, or is it just something that you decided to do?
Well, kind of. Like, so, um, when I started listening to podcasts, it was audio and video. So the first one I ever heard, it wasn't. I was still listening on an iPod. It was called Jimmy Pardo, and he was a comic. And then down the line, I started getting, I got my first iPad and started watching these video podcasts and seeing what the flow was and what the ideas were. And I'm like, shit, I would love to do that for something, but I just don't know what yet. And this was going back years ago when I would watch this person. Her name was Callie Lewis, and she would do all these tech shows, talking about the latest in phone technology and computer technology and all these gadgets and things. And I was like, that would be great. I think I want to do something about music, but I'm not sure where I want to go yet. And then when I got to Arizona, the opportunity just presented itself, and I couldn't be more happy about it.
And you're such the such the right contender, man, for the job, man. I mean, it's such a good time seeing you at the show. When I see you at the show, I can tell you're like taking notes with your eyes, dude. You're usually recording a little bit on your phone, right front and center every time. Like I know where to find you, and I just gotta look for that shiny head too.
Oh yeah, remember those days when we can do that and we can go to shows? Jesus.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about that then. One of the last shows that I performed, and one of the best things that happened last year, right before everything went to shit, was Planet Mammoth.
Yeah, man. That was an interesting concept. It's so here's the thing. There's somebody else that also needs some really good credit on that. And that's this guy Todd Shanahan from well, he's been in several bands. He's been in Return to Zero and Face the Flames and Heavy and now Jupiter Cyclops.
Yeah, I met him in
And he
Heavy.
was
Cool guy.
yeah, man. You know he can bang, man. He's an awesome drummer. And he was one of the first people that just asked me, he's like, so when's there going to be, like a Doom Tomb Fest or something? I was like, I don't know anything about doing that. I have no idea. But I put it on, in the back of my mind for a while. And then as things progressed, Kyle from Old Fashioned Assassin, he asked me, he's like, did you ever think about doing it? I'm like, yes. And we've got all these great people and these great bands in the area. Let's make this a showcase for the Desert Doom, Stoner Rock scene, whatever you want to call it. And let's show everybody what we have. If it falls flat, it falls flat. If it goes well, it goes well. And it seemed to go pretty well.
Yes, man. It was such a great time, man. I had such a blast. So what are some of the inner workings on setting up something like that? This was your first time to do something like that. I'm sure you were overwhelmed. How did that go for you?
It was okay. It's like anything. Plan your work, work your plan. I got to thank Kyle because Kyle was the eyes and ears of Arizona for me. He's been here a lot longer. He knows a lot more people, and it's really basic. First, obviously, you need the music. Then you want a good stage. Then you want the surrounding things to look okay, and and we set it up that way, just piecemeal, piece by piece. We reached out to a bunch of different bands locally. Thankfully, they were more than gracious to get on the stage, and then reaching out to people. And the people that we reached out to were people that we wanted to see on stage and that we knew would bring the house down. And yeah, it wasn't too taxing. We had a little hiccup here and there. We actually had one major issue where one band had to drop. That was going to be a headliner or co-headliner, but we filled the slot within the week, and that was surprising to me. That shows the legitimacy and the awesomeness of the scene, because I had a few offers, and it was just, can you get here? And we did get a band that got here, and they brought thunder.
Yeah, you had some big hitters, man. Um, I think Sixes was there. They're not even from anywhere around here. I don't think, are they? Was
Which band? I'm sorry.
Did you have Sixes on Planet Mammoth?
That was the band. Yeah.
Oh,
Six is from, I guess, basically California.
oh, okay. I played with them in Houston. For some reason I thought they were based out of that area over there. Oh, so they ended up not being able to show, huh?
Yeah, yeah. One of the band members actually they
Oh, they had a
passed away.
yeah. I remember that now. Oh man, I feel bad even bringing that up. That's terrible, man. Uh,
Yeah, they it was like a week before, and it was a random thing, and I couldn't even say any more about it because I just don't know all the details. I just know that it was out of the blue. It didn't seem like it was anything that was a long time coming.
no, for sure, yeah. So I'm surprised that we didn't see some sort. Did it cross your mind to try to integrate like a live stream type of deal into it this year? Because I know that you were gearing up to go ahead and start Planet Mammoth number 2.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I thought about it in terms of some bands. Like, hey, that would be cool. That would be cool for you guys to get something together. And then as it progressed, I'm like, yeah, we could do something. I just felt a little strange about it for a while, but with the vaccine coming around, and it seems that I think we've had like some of the lower days in Arizona so far. I mean, who knows after Super Bowl what's going to happen with if people have a bunch of parties and stuff, but who knows? But yeah, right. But I don't know. We might do something. It was almost like everything was so up in the air. I just wasn't sure what's going to land. But now that I've seen some of these amazing live streams, whether it was Green Druid or Fister or the Stoned and Dusted, is it Stoned and Dusted that's doing it? Or
Yeah, it's from Stoned and Dusted. I don't think they're calling it Stoned and Dusted. I think they're just calling it Live in the Mojave or something. But
exactly.
yeah, Earthless was the first one, and then Nebula aired yesterday. I got the stream. I just haven't watched it yet. I was in the studio yesterday, so that's my plan for today. I'm gonna get me a good Super Bowl going and watch that fucking watch Nebula. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. What do you? All right, now I saw some pictures that you were going into the studio doing some new material again.
Oh yeah, man. Well, see the one that we got coming out now. See, we made it a point to get one up on ourselves last year when we were recording in the studio. So I worked double time on that. I did one album, the album that's coming out now, all the same. I did that by myself while Who Do I Kill was also recording Eye for an Eye. So by doing that, I got us one up on our recordings. So now it's like I'm releasing something while I'm in the studio for the next thing, and I'm always gonna be one up on myself. So
That's awesome.
it seems like we're moving really fast, but really we put a lot of groundwork in to make it seem like we got a constant stream of material. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? I've seen some people doing that, like Anthony from the band Lagoon over in Oregon, just
Yeah, I heard
crushing.
that, man. His solo stuff is awesome.
And then he has a super group, Crooked Whispers. He's done this other project for Interstellar Smoke, Grim Lord, and he's also has a solo project. I mean, if you haven't checked that out, I would really suggest it. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, I spoke with Kyle on the last episode, and he was talking about Kyle from Mothership, and he was talking about that was sort of what he was really focusing on, was moving around, diversifying, and just getting a lot of writing credits and stuff. So, I
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. You've seen that. You've seen a Temple of Love stuff on social, right?
Oh yeah, man! I bought a Temple of Love shirt before I ever even heard the band. Like they first got together, they released their shirts, and I went ahead and got one. I just
Yeah, that sounds. I love the material, and then also I think that Witch Crier is going to be releasing material sometime down the line soon. I think they got stuff done.
That's really cool. Yeah, and one cool thing about my band, because uh, as much as all this shit took us by surprise, it's kind of been a blessing for us because we've been all over the place as a band. You know our situation. We're all split up, and so
Sure.
and then I kind of laid down the plan as what I was gonna do. So I basically took over the Who Do I Kill Instagram and changed it to my solo page for a while. And then we're gonna work the solo deal for the rest of the year, and then I got this next album already in the can. So by the time we get ready to release that, we're gonna be working on some new Who Do I Kill stuff, and that should be ready by 2022. And
Wow, man, you're just going along with it. That's awesome. I love it. I think this is the time, especially when we don't have that opportunity to see live music, and not that takes up our time because we love it, but now we have time to be creative and do so many different things, like even like we just said, Temple of Love. They got this great thing going, and just when I hear Susie's voice, I mean, I don't know, man, that's just a win for me.
she is amazing, man. Yeah, I saw a little snippet of something, but it was like a video of a video, so I couldn't hear it that well. But I saw Steve and all them jamming out, man, and it looked awesome. So
Yeah, they're keeping up with it.
to bring it back to live streaming and stuff, what'd you think of the Earthless stuff and Stone in the Mojave Desert?
I love it, man. I think it's a great concept and a great idea, and you know what? It feels like I'm there. And maybe it's just the size of my television. I don't know, but it's like the same thing when I saw the other programs, that the Fister one I saw the other week, and I was like, this is great. I honestly I miss the being with everyone, the sounds, the smells, the this, the that,
Mm-hmm.
of being in a cramped spot, or crammed in with people, or just vibing out with people. But this is what we have right now, and I'm fine with it.
Some of the more memorable ones that I've seen so far during all this would be when Mothership did theirs. That was a killer live
Yes,
stream. And then Down did the 25th anniversary of NOLA, which was amazing. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did not, but I saw the Mothership one, and yeah, when Mothership, they just. I remember watching that, like when I first saw them, and I was like, I can't believe how late it is, and they're still playing. And it took me back to those days of being when I lived in New York, where a concert wouldn't end until like 3 a.m. or whatever. I know here we have like a 2 a.m. cap, and I couldn't believe how late they played. But then I realized they played a super long set, and they did the same thing on the live stream. Wasn't it like about a 2 hour set?
Yeah, man, for sure. Those dudes are road dogs. They got that work ethic. You know what I mean? They've been together so long and putting in so much groundwork that they can pull that shit off.
And it's so weird when I see them open up for somebody, and I almost feel like they're just getting warmed up at the 30-minute, 35-minute mark, and
When
then
they
they're
got
like,
to
all
get
right,
off stage. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult would do themselves a service to split half their set with Mothership.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Uh-uh. Let them take a breather. Nah, but
Absolutely.
so do you think are you planning on having some sort of a live stream for
We're
Planet
thinking
Mammoth?
about Yeah, we're thinking about it in terms of we're getting wheels rolling. I don't know if it's going to happen or not because I need certain things. I want to do a certain a few third. Oh, you know who else? I just saw it the other night. The band Thra with Saint Breaker did a show at the Nile, and I thought it looked great. And I was like, shit, I gotta find whoever did the videography. That's the big thing. We know the music's going to be there. We know we can get the sound right. I don't know much about video or if anything, and I just want to make sure that it doesn't look like it looks decent.
Yeah, for sure. That's the main element of the whole thing is the visual.
Yeah, that's our biggest hurdle. And so I'm reaching out to some people, and Kyle is reaching out to people, and we're gonna see if we can get something together. And who knows if something works, we could do a night, maybe it would be different time, different setups, like the like seeing Earthless and Nebula and etc. I don't know. We don't know yet.
Okay. So I've seen whispers of Planet Mammoth 2022, and I know
Yes.
I know nobody really knows what's gonna come down the line, but that plan for an actual concert, right? That's not like a live stream thing that you're working on.
No, yeah, we we put that out of being extremely hopeful that things are going to calm down this year, and next year we can get back to kicking some ass. We reached out to the bands that are originally on the bill, and people are still down to do it. People are itching to play live. You know how it is.
Oh yeah. Shoot, I've played a couple
So
shows during the quarantine, man. I'm not gonna lie, but everybody came out unscathed, so.
yeah, man, we're gonna move some people around. We might add some other people and some other people. Honestly, it's years of it's a year away. Who knows what people have going on? But as it gets closer, like probably towards the last quarter of the year, we're gonna see what's up and where we can go with it.
That's awesome, man. So speaking of being hopeful, what's your call on Psycho this year? Because they haven't canceled it yet, but I mean everything in Europe is a bust so far. So I think we might follow suit. But I think
Yeah.
Psycho's being hopeful. Nobody is like, there's not one negative word about it. You know what I mean? I think we're all just
We're,
hoping and praying. But if it's gonna feel weird if we're not 100% in the clear. You know what I mean?
oh, totally. And you know what? I must be getting used to things being the way they are because I saw some footage last night of a concert and I was like, huh, wow, look at everybody together. Wow. That looks so foreign right now. And I don't know for Psycho. I mean, it's one of the biggest events of the year, and I haven't heard anything yet. I don't know. I guess we have to kind of see where the numbers are and what the powers to be want us to do. I don't. Because I just I don't know, dude. I would think it might have to be pushed, but I've talked to some people locally and they say that they're booking. Hopefully, they're booking shows for the fall now. So maybe there's something that I don't know.
I've heard from the outlets that I listen to, like industry people and like podcasts, inside baseball talk. I always hear it's going to be September before things get looking back to some kind of normal, which just slightly misses the mark for Psycho. So, You know,
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
tickets. I've had tickets. You know, since last year. Still got the tickets. There's a lot of my favorite bands playing there from the NOLA sludge category. You know, Exhorter, uh,
Right.
Down, I Hate God, Crowbar's gonna be there. And that I cut my teeth on all that stuff, man. So I'd love to go see those bands, man. But at the same time,
Y-
I want to do it for real, for real. This is something me and Kyle were talking about. Like, I want to get the real thing, not like some watered down plastic bubble version of it, you know?
I know, right? Like it's we we were joking around with Planet Mammoth. I said, we could do it if we charged like 400 a ticket and had like 15 people there. That'd be great, But that ain't gonna happen.
No. Well, we can give it a shot.
Yeah, we could try. We could definitely try.
No, I think you guys are doing the right thing, man. I think um no, if you're smart, you're using this time right now to write new material or get in the studio, find other ways to be creative. And then when it comes back to playing shows, we'll all have some new stuff and new experiences.
Oh yeah, yeah. Get everything else tightened up. If it's a touring band, make sure you have everything, all the I's dotted and T's crossed for the van and for the stage show to make something entertaining. And the one thing that I always find interesting is seeing people's different merchandise displays. And some people go and they throw it out, throw it everywhere on the table and just say, here it is. And then some people have this like decent setup, and then some people have an elaborate setup. But I always think that if you put some lights around there and just make it look decent, it'll bring people to it. But it might be time now. Maybe if you haven't put up a merchandise display or created one, maybe time to create one. Time to work on maybe different things with stage presence or like getting stuff ready for your tours.
That's some sage advice, man. So we're almost at the point here, Chris. I want to talk to you about a couple more things.
Sure.
You got your today's Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. By the way, who do you got for the Super Bowl?
I have no idea. All right. Here's the thing. I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs. Just are they playing? Am I right?
Yes, it's the Chiefs and the Bucks.
Okay. All right. See, I'm terrible at football. I don't really know much, but I know that my friends and family, my wife she will not root for Tom Brady. I think that's a given because she is a diehard Giants fan, and I guess the Giants and the Patriots might have had a little beef back in the day.
And that means you're rooting for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes it a safer household.
I hear you. I don't follow football much either, man. But for something inside of me says Tom's gonna take it, and I bet a guy $20 at work I got the Bucks, so we'll see what happens. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it, man. I got this Mojave Desert thing to watch, so. But
Right.
that aside, let's talk about your Cranium Radio show, man. What's that all about?
Cranium. Okay, it's kind of funny. Cranium Radio contacted me after doing the podcast for the better part of a year, and they said, "Would you be interested in doing something on the radio?" And I said, "Sure." And they said, "What do you want to do?" I said, I guess like a traditional show where I showcase bands and new bands and bands I like, and every once in a while I'll throw in something that's kind of weird or strange or what have you. But I said, "Well, how'd you hear about me?" And they told me the podcast, and I said, "Well, have you been listening?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "What episode?" And they picked the episode that they want. The reason they chose to call me was because of this episode, but I thought it was like one of the worst episodes I ever did, and it was a really interesting night, and I do hope to interview those guys again down the line, but I really don't think it went well. But I was like, all right, I guess. And the way they put it was like, you tried to do the interview and it just didn't gel the way it could have, and that's why we want you, because you tried. And I was like, shit, man, that sounds. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And what what
And
what
gosh,
episode was this? So the listeners can check it out if they want. Hear the
oh dear.
awkwardness.
All right. The awkwardness. Yes. The band was called Cough, or they still are Cough, actually. And it was, I just didn't know. Like going through to lead up to interview them. We were going to interview. I was going to interview them after sound check, and they had some troubles in getting into Arizona. And then I was going to interview them afterward, after the show. And then they were piling up, and they were kind of splitting stuff up with another band called Grime. So they said, well, could you follow us to this house and we'll do the interview there? So what was going to be an interview at about like 6:30 at night wound up being an interview at like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, rock and
Yeah.
roll.
So right on. Yeah. So, we were just, I think we might have been all a little bit tired, but I didn't feel like I was connecting well. And then I don't know. It was like one of the first 30 episodes that I did.
So
and I was still trying to, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just saying, so anybody listening, go check out that episode with Cough if you want to see how awkward it gets sometimes.
Oh yeah, it did. And I don't know, man. It just, it was very interesting. And then I talked to somebody in the scene and I said, yeah, I had this interview. I don't know if it went very well. And he says, who did you interview? And I told him. He says, yeah, they don't really do interviews. So I was like, okay, all right, that puts it into perspective. But I beat myself up over it. I take blame for a lot of it. I should have just said, hey, maybe we'll do a phone interview sometime. But I didn't. I was so into doing the live on the spot interviews. I think I just got away from myself, and I think they were just beat up from the day.
Well, when you set a goal to do something, naturally you want to get that goal done. And for people like us that put ourselves out there, you do open yourself up to feeling that way sometimes, feeling like, oh, this didn't go like I wanted, or maybe, oh, I sound like an idiot. Sometimes I feel that way about myself, but that comes along with putting yourself out there. But it's worth it for what you do for the scene. I mean, if there's hit or miss, we all understand. That's how relations are in life anyways.
Absolutely, man. And it's not to say anything bad about them. It's not, and I've had a couple interviews where every once in a while somebody kind of looks at me weird, or like why are you asking that or this? And I guess that's a part of it. And it's just a bit of overcoming that. But, being on the phone, you don't see that as much.
Right. So what do you see as the future for the podcast, man? You got it going pretty good. I know you got a lot of episodes banked. I know Ian's helping you out with a lot of stuff. What do you see coming down the near future for Doom Tune Podcast?
I will keep doing the phone interviews, and I'm not sure as we get back into live music and going to the venues. I really gave it some hard thought about what I want to do at the venue if someone wants to talk. Like, I might not do as long as an interview. I might make it more of an on-the-spot thing that's, a lot shorter instead of an in-depth. And then maybe I'll reach out to them on the phone. Like, the phone thing is just, I had a very few people that I interviewed on the phone beforehand, and now that's all I'm doing for the most part. So I might make them shorter, like I said, and just not to bother them as much, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a huge pain in the ass being at a venue after, you gave your heart and soul on stage, and now here we got to go talk to this guy over here before we load up,
Yeah, but sometimes it's not that. Sometimes you get a band like Great Electric Quest is pumped up coming off the stage, and then you get a killer interview. I mean,
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Quest, I interviewed Quest a long time ago, and it might be like episode 4 or something. And I probably, knowing me, knowing zero about sound, I probably overmodulated and it sounded weird. And it brings me back to the first few episodes I was doing. I think I was doing it not to wake up my wife, because I would be really low and quiet. I'd say, you know, welcome to the Doom Tune podcast. Like I'm
Yeah.
some kind of fucking like an intro to a horror movie kind of guy,
Uh-huh.
and that's just not me.
You ever listen to
I
Bill Burr podcast, Monday morning podcast? He does that too. Hey everybody, it's Bill Burr in the morning. It's
yeah,
so
I like
funny.
Bill Burr's a fave, and actually that's one of the podcasts that I've been listening to quite a bit lately. It's not the Monday morning, but it's the Bill and Bert podcast.
Oh, I love Bill Burt podcast, man. Burt Kreischer is just such a cool human, dude. He makes me smile every day.
And yeah, and it sometimes it's telling, and sometimes it hurts a little when you hear people that they just seem to be totally honest, totally open, and that is, it's oddly vulnerable when you know that this material is going to go out there. But I mean, they're seasoned pros; they're so used to it. Here we are, you and I, we're in this new chasm here where we're trying to figure out our way and figure out our words and what we want to do. And I know I'm not a comedian by any means. And it just seems like we're building our footing for how we want to do things going forward. I think we're still, I mean, I've got a bunch of episodes, but I still feel like I'm a baby in this industry.
Oh, absolutely. And I was thinking about this the other day because obviously what got me into podcasts was like Joe Rogan. I was into Joe Rogan because of well, first of all, I used to watch Fear Factor with my mom when I was a kid, dude. Okay.
Right.
uh, then now when I seen his stand up, when I saw his stand up, and then heard the things that he was saying about hallucinogens and shit, that's what kind of drew me to his podcast. And then his podcast is just it's great. I love it. It's great, free entertainment, informative. If you got a long day at work, it's a 3 hour podcast, man. And it makes your time go by like that. I just really
Oh yeah.
um so but then I really enjoy Theo Vaughn's podcast, and which is a lot different. This past weekend, I don't know if you listened to it. He's a comedian also, but
Yes.
his podcast is more of just him talking. He has guests on, but for the most part it's him, and he talks about like personal things, you know what I mean? And I like that element. I like there's just so many different things about different podcasts that I like, and I've been listening to podcasts now for shit almost 10 years, and it's like nowadays I listen to podcasts like I used to listen to music. And listening to music like that is what made me want to pick up instruments and make my own music. So naturally, I think after listening to podcasts for so long, it's just been a seed in my mind that I wanted to do some sort of a podcast. And it doesn't necessarily have to be totally music industry focused, but I just stepped into that because that's where I am. That's where
Yeah.
that's my space. But is there a
I agree totally.
is there a particular podcast? Like, what's your favorite podcast?
I switch in and out. For a while I was listening to WTF with Marin and Rogan. I've listened to for a bunch of years. I had a background in powerlifting, so I would listen. Now it's funny because they're aging with me. There's a podcast called Iron Radio, and they just talk no nonsense, no bullshit. It's no hype. There's no commercials in it, where they don't tout the next big brand of this for, this will make you 300 times stronger or whatever. They do more of just like straight up, get in there, do your business, eat okay, but it's coming from more of a powerlifting background. So sometimes it gets a little different than the traditional bodybuilding podcast. Bill Burt, I'm listening to all the time right now. There's this other podcast doesn't come on all the time, but like you said, you like the variety. Whitney Cummings is another comic, and she has a podcast called Good for You. And if you listen to Joe Rogan a lot, or like I listen to Iron Radio or whatever, there's a lot of manliness in these. And then you go to Whitney Cummings, and it's more of a feminine side, a feminine point of view that I don't always hear from.
Oh yeah, I
And
listen to the podcast "Guys We Fucked" and stuff like that, man. Just
oh
listen.
Jesus,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like to get the ladies' side of point of view too.
Yeah, because let's face it, Zach. I mean, you and I, we might be a little clueless sometimes, but we get through. We get through.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
shit, you got a bunch of kids, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they're giving us inside information. We'd be foolish not to accept it.
Yeah. Now
uh,
there's another podcast that I really like, called 30-20-10. It's a part of this bigger conglomerate of podcasts, and now that I think about it, this guy Chris Antista is also. Yeah, I just love the way he does it, the way he flows, his cadence, and how he directs the show and makes the show flow so very well. And they talk about pop culture from 30, 20, and 10 years ago. And there's a whole bunch of other podcasts
oh,
that he
that's
does.
really
Laser
neat.
Time is another one. It's really nerdy, but I love it.
So podcasts now seem like they're starting to break into like premium, um, what do you call it? Platforms. There's like one called Luminaire. I think there's one called Rockfin.
Right.
It's kind of like Netflix for podcasts. Instead of paying for any particular podcast, you just pay a monthly fee and you get this whole variety from their network. I was listening to Russell Brand on Luminaire for a while. And then there's like Rockfin. There's a couple other ones. Have you ever been approached, or do you ever consider joining up on because yours is free, and obviously, no, I don't know how much you're trying to monetize. Have you ever been approached to join like a network? Because I think that's probably where all this is going.
Yeah, there was some chatter about it, and it's I don't know. It just didn't materialize. To be honest with you, it was some talk, but it didn't really go anywhere. Maybe somewhere down the line, I have to take it for what it is. I understand that the majority of the people that I'm interviewing, um, these are it's underground. Even some of the
Absolutely.
biggest bands that I've interviewed, or biggest band members. Look, I could ask 100 people and they don't know. But if I ask 100 people, do you know Joe Rogan, or uh, do you know Metallica? People know the name even if they haven't heard anything.
Right.
So yeah, I'm thrilled with where I am. I have people that support me, and yeah, I've thought of doing like bonus material for maybe a Patreon. I was thinking, because I also do some part 5 interviews. Maybe I'll put those over on the Patreon and keep the long form interviews up, or do something completely different. I don't know yet, but I still like where I am right now.
Yeah, and I think that's always a good spot to be, man. Just keep it underground. You don't have any people to adhere to financially. Nobody invested in your stuff. Nobody trying to put their hands on it and stuff. And I think
Yeah, and
that
that way we can stay off TMZ that way.
I think yeah, we do ourselves a favor. Um, I think that we've all anybody that's been growing with the podcast for the past 10 years. All those podcasts that we like Joe Rogan and all these like elite sort of podcasts, they've already reached the pinnacle of their time, and now there's a whole new generation of podcasts coming up with it. Um,
Yeah, when I remember, you see, I've been a lifelong Howard Stern fan. I don't listen as much as I used to, but I still listen. And when I was in New York, oh my God, it was like he was the king. And he has come out over the years and said, podcasting, what is this crap? What is this? But even he's come around to it, to where it's like, oh, hey, this is another medium. And there are people that do it very well. It's not just, even though you might do it in the second bedroom of a house or something, there's still a great quality to it. And I could even liken that to some of the music that I've heard when I hear, like, where'd you make this? Or, okay, let's take somebody that's really, really massive. Billie Eilish and her brother doing the album like in their room. I mean, how much bigger can you fucking get?
Yeah,
Really?
and they were beating on the table and stuff to make their beats.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so that it just says like, this can be done. This is, I mean, we've seen it over and over again. We saw somebody do a shitty handheld with the Blair Witch Project, and it became a massive thing. You see that every now and again. They're outliers, but they happen. And with technology now, I think it's just going to happen more and more and more.
Yeah, and I think that when something gets too overproduced, it makes it uncool. I mean, look what's happened to YouTube. YouTube used to be cat videos and wild like conspiracy about aliens and shit. And now you get on there and it's CNN, Fox News, CNBC, and it's just basically turned into cable in the past couple years. And it's so overproduced. And where's everybody going? They're flocking to TikTok. Where
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
more grassroots. The corporate, there's no corporate entities involved in it, and and it's you film it with your phone. It's not over the top quality, and I think that's what people crave. So it's no surprise to me that DIY stuff does so well. I know we've been on here for a while, Chris. I just wanted to ask you two. I just got two more questions for you, man.
Yeah,
Um,
take your time, man. I could go here, for a while. And when you, by the way, just one quick thing. When you're talking TikTok, yes, TikTok blows up, and it also sends stuff either way because you noticed out of nowhere, Instagram made an Instagram Reels, and that looks eerily similar to TikTok. Then you see an app like Triller, and they're doing it eerily similar to TikTok. So that's a very current model. I don't know if it's part of like ADHD culture because there's nothing over a minute. So you
right.
get a minute of content and you move on, and maybe somewhere psychologically that I don't know if that's a great thing, but I scroll on TikTok and shit. I know I got to take a break.
I'm not sure if that's the cause or the effect, the short attention span. I don't know if the videos are only a minute because we have a short attention span or if we have a short attention span because the videos are only a minute. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there will be eventually a TikTok produced movie or something.
Speaking of reels, I put a reel up today that just fucking blew up, man. I got over 2,000 views in like 30 minutes. And it was just me
Isn't
playing
it
it.
crazy how it works?
Yeah, reels is really cool, man.
Now,
So,
here's something. But wait, this is really important
okay,
about
go ahead.
Reels
Go ahead.
because I've put stuff on Reels and, some stuff does great, some stuff doesn't. It's like hit or miss. But here's what I've been noticing. If you have your fan base, and this is kind of going out really to musicians and stuff, if you have your fan base and you know who's going to like your stuff when you post, that's one thing. When you go on Reels, you're going out to a broader universe. And what I have found, like I would get maybe a handful of people that already like me or follow me on the page to check out the content, but I get tons more that aren't following yet or become new followers or actually start to listen to this music. I think it's going to bring some more people in to the scene if you just try it out, see if it works. I mean, shit, it worked for you, right?
Yeah, Reels is great. I mean, it posts it twice. It goes into the Reels algorithm and it goes onto your feed. So, and yeah,
If you choose.
and as opposed to just going onto your feed, like you said, it just throws it into the algorithm. If you're scrolling through Reels, you're gonna see it eventually. It's like just much like TikTok.
Yeah, it's crazy how it works.
So now there was a time when not everybody had cell phones or smartphones, and then there was a time when not everybody had social media. Now everybody has social media. And then there was a time when nobody really knew what podcasts were. And now podcasts have blown up. And now more and more we're seeing more people pop up with podcasts. We got apps like Anchor that's just taking the whole process and really simplifying it. And even like you said, the quality, just DIY, sort of a lo-fi quality, is more and more acceptable. Do you think there's going to be a time when the vast majority of people have their own podcast, just like another outlet, just another social media?
Yeah, it could be like just personal blogging, and that might be a thing. Maybe, maybe you just created the next app, the next thing that's instead of audio or instead of video, we could just go around and listen to 1 minute snippets
Oh
from people.
wow. We might have to edit this out, dude. I think we're on to something. Yeah. It's like a Facebook for podcasts. Little audio
There you
clips.
exactly. We'll get you. You get that, and you just get a minute of each, and then move forward.
Wow. Oh, you know what? I heard Tim Dillon talking about something like this. I don't know if you know who Tim Dillon is. You should check his
Yes, I do.
podcast out. He's a comedian, but he rants about like geopolitical stuff, but with like a comic edge to it. But
Sure.
anyways, one last question for you, Chris. I appreciate you being
Yeah.
on here, man.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
what's your most memorable podcast moment for your podcast?
Oh my God. Jeez. You know, there's. Hmm. That's a good one, man.
Because I feel like
I don't know. There's.
you're gonna say one of two episodes in my mind. So, but no pressure. I'm curious.
Well, I do have to say that one of my highlights was interviewing Isaiah Mitchell from the band Earthless.
I knew it.
Um, but but I tell you, man, it's not just one person, but it might be one person. Some of my favorite times have been hanging out with the guys in the band Source and Via Vengeance, which is Shane, who was formerly in Source, and now he's got his other projects with Surf Through Death and Hillbilly Devil Speak. Now Shane put this because it was a weird interview at the time because he did a show and then he's like, well, let's you hungry? I'm like, well, shit, yeah, I'm hungry. What are we gonna do? Let's go to In-N-Out. We went to In-N-Out. It was the only interview I've ever done in a fast food restaurant, and it was so interesting. People next to us, they were talking to us while we were doing it, and then some guy sits down and we're talking about something about the band Helmet, I think. And the guy says, "Oh yeah, I know you. I've seen you play." And it was just like this very organic moment that showed that like music is everywhere. It's universal. And Shane, being the cool ass dude that he is, he says, "Hold on a second," and he goes out to his car or his truck and he brings back a bunch of stickers and CD and some other stuff. He says, "Here, man, take it." And it was just like, it was such a moment to see that, it ain't all doom and gloom, even though, like, if you've ever seen Shane play on stage, you think he's going to tear someone's head off.
That's the funny thing about heavy metal rock and roll guys. They look so mean, but they're such big teddy bears
Oh, yeah.
for the most
And
part.
I've seen it in various interviews. I was doing an interview for a band that was going to be canceled. Like the show was being canceled and people were protesting, or they said they were going to protest the show. They didn't. I was at that. I've been on.
Are we talking
Plenty of
about Black
sidewalks.
Magic Black Magic Flower Power? Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, and whatever, man. It is what it is.
So
But I've had. Yes, go ahead.
you've had you've been doing a food element on your Instagram.
Yeah,
That I really enjoy. You're naming your dishes with like desert rock sort of themes. And
right.
when can we expect like a Doom Tomb cooking show segment?
Yeah, I know. I definitely need better video quality. That's for sure. I just, it's like I think it's a part of the pandemic, really, because I'm staying at home a lot. My wife and I aren't really going out to eat, so I said, what am I going to make? And sometimes, like, I'll be honest with you, I made something last night. I didn't feel that it was very doom worthy, so I didn't record it. But it was this broccoli, cream of broccoli and leek soup with curry, and oh, it tastes amazing. But it just looks like a bunch of green goop.
Doesn't
I don't
look
know. It
very
doesn't.
doomy, huh?
No,
Nah, I can see it.
it doesn't do.
It would make a great IGTV right there, man. If you just had like a little fucking 5 minute episode of you throwing a good dish together with some heavy music in the background, man. And then
Can you do that? Can you do IGTV separate from your feed?
it'll go onto your Instagram feed, but yeah, I mean, IGTV is right there with everything else.
Hmm. I'll have to try it because usually, yeah, that stuff runs long
Yeah.
and if you watch enough shows, you know that if you slow it down a little bit, it looks a little sexier, it looks a little
Yeah.
nicer. But yeah, so I'm just messing around. Really, I just get a kick out of it, and um, some of one of my favorite parts of it sometimes is as I use the ingredients, I make a pun or something out of like stupid dad jokes
For
out
sure.
of out of the names of the ingredients.
All right, Chris, man. Well, check it out. This is going to be airing tomorrow. And the next Monday, the 15th of February, is the 6 month anniversary of our Who Do I Kill Eye for an Eye release. And I was wondering if it's all right with you if I posted your episode of Doom Tune Podcast where we talked about the album, if I just posted that on my podcast as a repost.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. No problem at all. Let me. I'll send it to you. I know I got it somewhere. I got it somewhere around here.
That'd be great, and if not, I know how to steal it too, so I'm pretty handy. Hey, I really
Yeah,
appreciate
no.
you coming on, Chris, and I can't wait to get back to shows, man, and run into you and fucking have a couple beers and just buy some merch from some band and fucking, get right back to the whole thing, man.
I totally agree, man. I miss all my buds, and I just missed walking up to a place. Actually, before we go, the one place that I miss a lot that doesn't seem like much is on the other side of Yucca Tap Room. There is the Pinball Arcade, the Electric Bat Arcade, and then in that area, there's that booth in the back. You seen that booth?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it's that booth and the Tiki Bar. I love doing interviews right there. That would be the place. And of course, every time we start an interview, somebody starts playing pinball machine right next to us or something. But I think that's a part of the charm. I think it was a part of the magic of getting a band interviewed right there and seeing it warts and all.
Man, I can see it right now. Have you thought of fucking incorporating like video element to it? Because that would be a nice little spot to have like video for your podcast too.
I I have videos. I normally just delete them. I have a few in the tank because sometimes people aren't ready. I ask them if you're interested in it and if you mind if I put up I won't put up the whole thing right away. I'll put up a clip or two to start. I need to tell people ahead of time that I might use it because even one person says, "Is this going to be like for video?" And I said, "No." He says, "All right," because if it did, I got to put on a more rock and roll shirt, kind of thing.
One thing that I've developed a little record store addiction during this quarantine, man. I've been hitting Zia Records like every weekend after work. And
All right.
I didn't used to do that before, man.
Well, we got time. So, what was your last few that you purchased?
I just went and picked up Zach Sabbath for my son because I was hunting for Desert Sessions a week or so ago, and when I was hunting for Desert Sessions, I saw that Zach Sabbath album, and my son's crazy about Zach Wild, so we went and seen Zach Sabbath when he came through, and then I grabbed that Desert Sessions for myself last week, and then I went back this week and picked up Zach Sabbath. By the way,
Oh, right on.
congratulations on your interview with Blasco too, man. I listened to that. Volume Forever is a killer playlist on Spotify as well.
Oh yeah, and if you haven't had a chance, you might, any bands or whatever, go back and check out his Managemental podcast. I love it. They're short snippets and maybe 30 minutes a piece, and it can really help you if you're trying to advance in the music industry.
Right on, man. I think we can leave it at that. That's a good ending point right there, Chris. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you soon, man.
Hell yeah,
You
keep it
wanna
going.
go ahead and tell everybody your social media so they can hit you up if they want.
Straight up, Doom Tomb Podcast all across social media. DoomTombPodcast.com, new and archived episodes. I went through the iTunes or the podcast space for iTunes, and I guess it just kind of peters out after a while. But you can get all the episodes, through the TuneIn app as well. I use that, and I don't know. It's wherever you download your podcast. I'm looking at the amount of places that I'm at, and I think it's like, hold on a second, I'll tell you. I'm at 25 different publishing destinations right now. So it's like Amazon, Android, Blogger, Deezer, Google Play, wherever you listen, man. Spotify, I'm all over. And if you got any suggestions on where to go next, hey, let me know. I'll link it up.
And when do you do your Cranium radio shows?
That's today, actually, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes I follow it with a podcast. Sometimes I do go a little longer because I don't have anybody after me. It just goes back to the station. So, yeah, it's an interesting time, and it's growing over the past year, which, I have to thank the pandemic on that, because, I think a lot more people are at home. Although it's, I'm trying to find a positive out of negative thing,
And that's what we do. All right, Chris, I love you, man. I'll see you soon, all right?
Take care, brother. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. I'm glad we could finally work it out. And I will see you soon, bro.
You got it, brother.
All right, everybody. That was Chris Beck from the Doom Tomb Podcast. You can follow him on all social media at Doom Tomb. Got a lot of cool things coming up in the near future on the Jam Space Podcast as well, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to look on zachcry.bandcamp.com and all the cool merch that we got going. We got all the same pre-orders up right now for just $5. The album drops April 9th on Bandcamp. It's going to be hitting all other streaming services on the 16th. And we got the title track streaming on Spotify and all other platforms right now. Check me out at Zach Cry. You can follow the Jam Space Podcast at Jam Space. And we love you guys.